Hey everyone, I'm back with another car chat. I've been selling appliance parts now on eBay for about a month, so I thought I would do a car chat about some of my thoughts, things that have changed, things that I like and don't like about selling appliance parts, and some of the mistakes that I've made. So right along with me, let's launch this Reseller Rowboat. Hey everyone, I hope you've had a wonderful week in your life and in sales online. I am doing another car chat. I don't know how this is going to go. I have a whole set of notes here, blown up, the highest font you can imagine. Hopefully I can do this and not have a wreck. My sales are up. I'm so excited. My sales are up 37% over December. And I attribute that a lot to adding my old niche, appliance parts, to my store. So let's talk about some of the changes, some things I like, don't like, mistakes I've made. And then at the end, I'll share some personal news with you. Okay, let's talk about changes first, things that I've noticed since the last time I sold them. 3 years ago is when I was selling appliance parts before. A lot has changed since then. There are a lot more people selling parts on eBay than ever before. The comps are much lower. For instance, I used to be able to sell a Ronco rotisserie oven door for $60. Yeah, $60. That was my going rate. And by the time I shipped it, which is really, really heavy, I think it was at least almost 4 pounds, I always had money left over. Like, I made money on the sale of $60. Now, I'm going to be lucky if I get $30 for the door. So, I'm having to do a lot of things to my listings to make my store more appealing than the umpteen other 100 people who are selling Ronco rotisserie oven doors. Man, it's cutthroat now. Really, really cutthroat. Also, the stores, the thrift stores, the appliances, the parts are higher in price than they were before, which is exactly one of the reasons why I stopped selling appliance parts in the first place. And I'm thinking, Beth, you're going back to the same problem. You can't afford these machines. You should have just kept selling them because nothing's changed. Well, I've changed a lot in my way of thinking since then, and so I plan to do a lot more garage sales, estate sales, and flea markets this year. That's where I'm hoping to get the majority of my appliances. The other day when I was at the bank, I got a bunch of $1 bills just in case I happen to upon a garage sale when I'm out and about. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, the prices are just crazy. And unless you can get them on a half price day, which is very rare in this area, you got to pay full price. This is crazy. All right. I gotta turn the page. I have 10 pages, but don't worry, it's not that long. It's just these are blown up so I can read them. Alright, things I like about appliance parts, selling them. They're easy to draft, multiple drafts. So if I have a machine, it's got 7 parts to it. I draft the first part, and then I make a copy. Like if I have 7, then I have 1 draft, and I make 6 copies of that 1 draft. And then all I have to do is go in and change the title, the colors, the price, and it's very, very easy to list 7 pieces. I do like that. However, I made a really big mistake on one, which I'm going to talk about in a little while. But yeah, that's easy. That's pretty easy. they're really easy to photograph. I mean, I put them on my wooden table in the kitchen because if any water drops or left from the dishwasher, I can just wipe off the wooden table and you can't even see it. Most of the time I can sit down when I'm photographing appliance parts, and that's awesome for my back because, you know, when I photograph 35 or 40 pieces of clothing, my back is killing me way before I end. Also, it's in my kitchen, so in the pictures you can see my wife sometimes sitting in the background, or you can see a bottle of water sitting on the kitchen cabinet. I think that just kind of adds a little ambiance to it, you know, that I am a one-person seller here in my home, you know, not a major corporation. And I think most people are focusing on the part itself, that they're not going to go pick through the background and see, well, you know, what does her wife look like, or what does her dog look like, you know. So I don't have to, in other words, I don't have to have a fancy background or anything. I can just plop it on the table and do it. Parts are easy to list once you have the draft. I mean, all I have to do is just pop in the photo and then double check everything, which I obviously didn't double check the other day. It was a bad mistake, guys. I think I just missed my turn, so I'm going to turn around. I was afraid this was going to happen, that I was going to miss my turn because I was just big talking. I mean, I've done this before, even when I wasn't recording a video. I was on my way to work, and then all of a sudden I realized I was on my way to the thrift store. I get distracted. Probably one of my favorite things I like about selling appliance parts is that I don't cross-post them. So once it sells, I absolutely am certain that I have the piece. I had to cancel a sale yesterday for a pair of Banana Republic pants that sold on eBay, and they had sold about 2 days before, and I recognized the SKU number right away, and so I had to cancel that order, unfortunately. So don't have to worry about that with my appliance parts. Things I don't like. It's going to take me extra time during the week to source. Sourcing appliance parts is going to add several hours to my week. So tomorrow, instead of listing clothes or listing anything, I'm going to have to be out and about looking for machines. I am now down to 2 machines to part out, and they're not very good. They're not that great. But I have made a deal with myself that to keep from getting a death pile, which I don't think I'll have to worry about that on the appliance parts, is even though I don't think the machine is that great to part out, they get listed in order of being bought. So I have a waffle maker. I'm not sure why I bought it. Certainly I should have comped it. Hopefully I did. And so there's got to be some reason why I bought it, right? And then there's a baby food warmer or something. And they're just not, you know, the greatest pieces. But I am not going to let them sit there, in other words. They're going to get listed first before anything else that comes in. And that's how I'm keeping things rolling. All right. Also, it's going to take me longer because when I go to my honey hole on Mondays to get clothes, there's no other thrift store anywhere near my honey hole that I could just stop off on the way home and check it out. There's nothing there. So that's a drag. I imagine I'll be adding 2 to 3 hours a week minimum sourcing. That's time that I really don't have. You guys know my schedule is very, very tight. All right. I hate to clean appliance parts. I hate it. I have to find a time when our dishwasher is free. We run our dishwasher every day. We have a lot of dishes for 2 people because right now I'm on keto and she's on paleo, and I'm constantly prepping food during the day for the next day, trying to keep ahead. And so as soon as you take dishes out of our dishwasher, more dishes go in. Like, I'm constantly washing dishes, and I'm having trouble finding a time when the dishwasher is completely empty, because when I do this, I like to wash like 4 or 5 appliances all at one time, photograph them all at one time, and it's very rare that I can find room for 4 or 5 machine parts in there, and that's been really, really frustrating. In fact, I'm just like starting to say, because I usually tell my wife, do you need the washing machine today? Because I need to wash clothes. And she'll say yes or no. I was going to do wash. And I'm like, well, crap. I guess I can't wash clothes, Well, can I squeeze one load in between your loads? Because she does all the laundry. And she'll say yes or no. I got a lot of laundry to do. Well, the same thing with dishes. Now I find myself telling her, are there dishes in the dishwasher? Are they clean or dirty? And the dishwasher takes, God, it seems like almost 3 hours to go through its cycle. It takes forever. So I hate cleaning them. I hate taking the tape off that they put at the thrift stores. They usually use red marker on the lids to put the prices. And so I use 91% alcohol, by the way, on the lids, on the machines, to get the red marker off. Don't try lighter fluid. Don't try Goo Gone. It will mess up the plastic a lot of times. 91% alcohol should do it. There's also something called mineral spirits. I think it's in the turpentine area of the store, in the hardware store. That also might take that off. I know I used to use that for markers that were written on the bottom of shoes. Inventorying these items, storing them, has been hard. It takes up more space to store these appliance parts than it does clothing, which was another reason why I stopped selling them 3 years ago. I had one whole shelf of nothing but lids, but I could put probably 200, 300 pieces of clothing on that same shelf and make a whole lot more money. So that's been difficult. I'll talk about that in a minute, about how I'm storing it now. If you go to my eBay store and you hit select all items, you will see coffee filters, you will see Ronco rotisserie doors, and tunics. And to me, it looks so tacky. It just looks so tacky, but I gotta quit thinking about that, because I really appreciate Bridget and Valerie and a couple of people who really talked me into listing these parts in my store, because I wanted to open my parts store back up, and they kept saying, no, you've got so much feedback and it's gonna be okay. But it just looks tacky to me. And I know some of my repeat buyers, they go to my link. I have a hyperlink in my listing. It says click here to check out our other items. And then when they do that, they see all these. It just looks so weird to me. But that's okay. I don't like to ship parts. And especially like today, I'm on my way to work. I get up at 6:30 to get ready. Well, if I sell a part overnight, and I don't get up early enough, I have to go and find it. Then I have to create a box, assemble a box for it, get the bubble wrap out of the garage, wrap it up, weigh it, print it. It takes so much longer to pack an appliance part instead of just popping a piece of clothing in a poly mailer. Like, I could get up at 6:30 and have 5 sales in clothing, and it was like nothing. Like, I got it done, I could ship in like 10 minutes, 5 minutes. I mean, it was easy. No, not so this way. So that's something else I don't like. All right, I'm trying to drive here. Stick with me. Can't believe I'm able to do this, read this, and drive. I almost went to the thrift store, though. Okay, changes that I've made this time. This time I'm doing free shipping, 60-day free returns, no best offers. So I really have to be pretty spot on with my prices. All right. And I'm comping mostly from what is available for sale, not for what sold. I want to know who I'm competing with. Do they have free shipping? Do they have free returns? Do they have best offer? If there's only one other part listed, then I'm excited. If there's nothing there for me to look at, there's nobody's got anything for sale, then I might go over to the solds and see, well, have any of them sold in the past? How much did they get for it? And then I kind of make a decision from there. So I think I've sold, in the last month, I think I've sold at least 8 parts. Okay. And some of them for really good money, So I'm happy with that. I have less than 100 listed. So out of 3,900 items, I think that's pretty good. Another change I've made this time is I'm showing measurements on the parts on the table with a bright fluorescent yellow ruler. It's like a yardstick, but it's collapsible. It's been awesome. I don't know why I didn't do it before. It's just, I don't know. Because then you have people questioning your measurements. I wish I could do it with clothing. I really wish I could, because I have people questioning my measurements sometimes. But I just tell them, no, I can't remeasure. This stuff's packed for shipment and storage. Can't remeasure. But I don't have a place where I can easily measure clothes. I mean, I guess I could put them on my kitchen table to measure them, but that's not where I photograph my clothes. So that would just be, that'd be extra back and forth. I'm not willing to do that. I have changed my entire store to standard shipping, and I'm hoping this will save me some money, because even though my store is 37% up, I don't feel like I have as much money to put in the bank, to show for it. Like, I'm looking right now at my deposits and I'm like, well, this isn't that much more than I put in last month. And I think a lot of it is because of my shipping prices. I'm shipping priority a lot when I really don't have to. They pay $8.99 and it says priority, but do I really have to ship it priority? I mean, I don't know. So everything's standardized shipping. Under a pound is $6.99, and over a pound of 2 pounds is $8.99, and then over 2 pounds is $9.99, and then over that is $11.99. If I don't think I can get it in any kind of package, if it's really bulky, I just go up $1. But everything's gonna, it says standard shipping, which is ground advantage, and then when I get to my shipping page, I'll just decide which one's cheapest. If it's just a couple more cents to send priority, I'll do that, especially for repeat buyers. Alright, starting my inventory over has been a bummer, because the way I used to have it, I had so many parts. Like, I had like 500 parts, right? At least 500 at one time. So I had a box for Cuisinart clear, a box for Cuisinart black, a box for Cuisinart white. And I did the same for Mr. Coffee. I had several Mr. Coffee boxes. DeLonghi, Ronco, I can't think, Hamilton Beach, Sunbeam. I had all these boxes, all right, on one shelf. And I even had miscellaneous. Well, and so when something would sell, it was a Mr. Coffee black coffee filter, I just went to Mr. Coffee black box and it was in there. I didn't have to pick through a bunch of stuff. Well, right now, I don't have that many pieces from a brand. I have a whole bunch of pieces from a whole bunch of different brands a lot of them I've never sold before. So what I did was I made these huge boxes out of the boxes that the priority padded flat rates come in from the USPS. I cut the tops off and I wrote January 24 on the front. There's 3 of them. Actually, I put 0124, but whatever. So every time I listed parts, I threw them in there, right? Well, don't throw them in there, but you know what I mean. Put them in there. And then as I got more, I started making smaller boxes. So I started getting quite a few Cuisinart pieces, so I made a Cuisinart box. And then I got more, so I made a second Cuisinart box. And now I have a Hamilton Beach box, and I have a Mr. Coffee box, and I think I have a DeLonghi box. Everything else that I've listed in the last month has been put in all mixed up into these 3 huge boxes. So if I sell, excuse me, a Chef Man milk frother tank, it's in one of those boxes, but I don't know which one it's in, so I gotta go search for it all through there. It's a pain in the butt. So anyway, I don't like it. Also finally made a tub for rotisseries because I was getting so many rotisserie pieces that I made a huge Rubbermaid tub. It says rotisserie on it, and got those big pieces off my shelf. But yeah, I can't wait until I get more pieces and can get my inventory. I'll take a video of it when I'm getting more pieces in. Mistakes I've made. I bought a bottle warmer. It was in a box. I looked inside it. I don't know what I was thinking, but when I got it home, it only had 1 piece in there that I could part out. Actually, I did find another piece at the bottom, but when I go to the instruction manual, I can't find that piece anywhere. It's just a little tubey thing. And in the instruction manual, it doesn't show it, but somebody else showed it in their picture. So obviously it goes with that. So I don't know how much I may pay for that machine. I didn't want to look because I didn't want it to upset me. I bought an espresso machine with a cracked carafe, and that was because the crack was towards the back of the machine and it was hidden by tape. And it's really, you really can't take all this tape off these. You know, I'll take some tape off, like if they've got the lid taped, I want to make sure there's filters inside the lid. I will take the tape off to make sure that there's filters inside. But as far as taking all the tape off of the front and the craft, I don't do that. You know, maybe I should take these pieces to the front and say, hey, I want to take the tape off this machine before I buy it. You know, maybe that's what I should do. I don't know. The worst mistake I made this month was I had a food processor, I guess it was, and it had like 7 pieces. And so I drafted the first piece, and then I made 6 copies. And I went in and, you know, changed the titles, put the pictures in, changed item specifics and prices and everything. Well, on this one, I forgot to change the title. So the original draft was for a food pusher, which a food pusher doesn't cost that much money. So then I put a picture of the lid in it, and I changed the item specifics to lid, clear. The price was, I think it was $32.99 or something like that, because he paid $29.99 for it. So anyway, I get excited. The sale comes in. Ding! I've sold a lid for $29.99. I go over there, and the title says food pusher. But the picture's a lid, and the listing's got a lid. So then I'm like, well, shoot. Is he wanting to buy a lid, or is he wanting to buy a food pusher? I mean, what do you guys think? Do you want to buy what there's a picture of, or do you want to buy what's in the title? So I messaged the guy and I said, which part are you wanting? The food pusher or the lid? Let me know so I can ship the right one. I said there was a mistake in the title. I am so sorry. Never heard back from him. What do you think I did? You guys that know me and know my business, what do you think I did? Pause it for a second. Okay, we're back. I sent him both pieces. These were pieces that I had given to Kimberly. These were paid for years ago. The food pusher, I probably could have gotten $13 for, if that much. So I wrote him and I said, look, I got to ship this. So I'm going to include both pieces and consider the second item complimentary. And I really seriously doubt he was buying a food pusher for $30, but I didn't. There comes a point where you got to say, is it really worth it? Like, I'm going to send him the lid because I don't think anybody would buy a food pusher for $30. And then he gets the lid, and then he's like, I don't want the lid, I want the food pusher. Or if he's a scammer, which I don't think he is, he could definitely say that she sent me the wrong piece. See, he could have even been buying it saying, I'm going to buy this piece because obviously this listing's messed up and I'm going to get some money. Well, I sent both. So I don't have proof that I sent both, but I do have my messages saying I sent both. I just think it's good customer service. I probably paid a whole $1 for that food pusher. So, anyway. Got to turn the page again. Am I glad I went back to appliance parts? Yes and no. When I'm parting appliances out, I'm thinking to myself, I miss clothing. When I'm steaming clothes and measuring clothes, I'm like, appliance parts are so much easier. So, I was kind of complaining the other day because I could not get a work bowl off of a machine, and I never did get it. I had to throw it away. I watched YouTube videos on how to take it off, and it would not come off. And I was complaining, and my wife was in there going, see, this is exactly what you used to do. And so I had to stop complaining because she remembers that. I'm like, I can't get this off. I can't get this off. I've done everything they're telling me to do. And it's frustrating. Checking manuals for proper terms and to see what pieces I have and what I don't have, that's very time consuming. On the other hand, measuring clothes, washing clothes, steaming clothes, all that's time consuming. It's just a different kind of time consuming. Would I rather be in front of the computer comping parts, or would I rather be standing up steaming clothes? I don't know. I guess it depends on the day and how I'm feeling, really. I believe my sales are up 37% because I did add this new niche, which happens to be an old niche of mine, which I absolutely already knew a lot about. If I would have opened a new niche that I didn't know anything about, I think it would have been a lot different. I believe there are other reasons why my sales are up, but I'm hoping that I'm adding a new customer base to my store, that, people will see when they come. I don't think when they come to buy clothing, I don't think they're going to buy appliance parts, but when they come to buy appliance parts, if they see the clothing, I think I might get clothing sales, if that makes sense. In personal news, on Tuesday night, I fell on the porch. Guys, I was extremely lucky. I should have broken both knees. I should have broken my wrist. I also hit my head. It humbled me because I'm thinking at 61, almost 62, next month, 62, I am only one fall away from stitches, surgery, physical therapy. The whole time I was laying on the porch, all I was thinking about, I was thinking I was in pain, but mostly what I was thinking about was, oh my God, how am I going to store my items? How am I going to photograph? How am I going to pick them from the top shelf? How am I going to pack and ship my items? That's what I was thinking about. I guess that tells you sort of kind of what my priority is, right? And then the last thing I wanted to say that's personal is we had a freeze the other night, and 2 nights in a row, and we're supposed to have one tonight. We thought we came out unscathed. However, our exterminator was outside 2 days ago. Yeah, 2 days ago. And he came running into the house and he said, hey, he said, did you know you've got water just pouring out of your pool filter? And we're like, no. And that's because the pool filter is behind a fence. We have a fence in front of it, or yeah, a wooden fence, so that you can't see all that equipment, right? And we didn't see that. I don't know how long it had been pouring out. That was water we were buying. That wasn't water from the pool. Like, the pool level wasn't going down. We were buying that water that was pouring out. And the guy says, well, I know how to turn the pump off. So he turned the pump off, even though he was an exterminator. This service has they have all kinds of different services, and I guess he has a pool too, personally, but anyway, they have a power washing service, they have an exterminating service, they have a pool service, they have all kinds. They're very expensive, but they're very good. So he goes, hey, I will call them at the shop, at the office, and see if they can set you up for an appointment, to come out and get a new filter, because it was obviously, our filter was trashed. It's probably like 30 years old, probably longer than that. It's a dinosaur. Well, that's gonna be $2,700. And if they don't get it in by tonight we're supposed to have another freeze, and how can you go through another freeze with your pump off? So we're like, well, what are we gonna do if you can't get the new filter in? Our pool's gonna freeze, our pipes. And they said, well, we're gonna get somebody over there to drain the line, whatever that means, so that you won't have a freeze during the night. Your pipes won't freeze if we can get the filter in. They said the filter was supposed to come in yesterday. Fingers crossed. I'll let you know the next time I go live. So anyway, that's what's going on with me, guys. I appreciate you watching. If you're new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe. Also, hit the thumbs up. Please leave me a comment. I love reading your comments. Also, if you know someone who has OCD, please send them my way so that they can either listen to my OCD podcast or be a guest on a show. Until next time, keep paddling. We are all in this business boat together. Bye.